Hey everyone, Mason Buckles here, and today I'm joined by Krissy Ayad with the Robin and Rachel group of Realogics and Sothebys out of Mercer Island. Krissy, so grateful for you to spend some time with me today. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I've been fortunate to get to know you over the past few months, and I was super excited to have you come in today and just learn more and share kind of your journey in real estate and what you focus in on. Maybe you can do me a favor though and just kind of walk me through your story and what led you to real estate and how you've progressed through your career.
Absolutely. So started doing multifamily property management for AMC, which is Apartment Management Consultants, about 10 years ago, and managed about 400 units there. And it was great aspect of the real estate part of it, getting to know people, getting them in a home, which is really awesome, but there was a lot of pros and cons that came with that.
Right.
The eviction process is not fun.
Right.
Behind the scenes is not fun, but I did realize that I really enjoyed the relationship building piece of it, putting somebody in a new home, as well as just kind of turning the units too. I really enjoyed a lot of those aspects. And then, from an investment standpoint, working with the investors to kind of what makes sense for the project, that sort of thing.
Very cool.
Yeah. And then went from that, got my license. I did that for about 4 years, got my real estate license about 7 years ago now. And then also was doing residential property management for Point 3, which is a boutique in Fremont. So got the leasing experience there for residential, which I loved. I realized, I really like this part of it. And so that was a really good segue to get into more sales. So that just kind of opened that door, and the ball just kind of kept rolling. So here we are.
Velocity, right?
Exactly. Velocity. So it's been about 8 years now.
Okay, great. And then you joined Robin and Rachel's group
a year ago.
Okay, fantastic.
So I've been with Realogics for a year with Robin and Rachel, and they're amazing. Learning so much from them too, which is
such great mentors.
Exactly. Yeah. So grateful for that.
Very cool. I know that, a big part of your business has really been focused on the new construction side of things. Maybe you can talk to me about how you're leveraging kind of the community aspect around, partnering with builders and creating opportunity for clients. Been
very interesting for me and just kind of pulled me in. So
it's got you in a few different markets too, it sounds like. So.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Neat.
So,
I was checking out your website again before we met today, and I feel like the feel of it epitomizes who I've got to know. And I want you to do me the favor and kind of speak to the experience from a client's point of view. If I'm being introduced to you, whether I'm looking to buy or sell a home, what should I expect?
Communication's huge. I'm definitely on top of the communication piece. I'm very genuine. Like what you hear, what you see is what you get in the best way possible. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm just going to tell you the honest truth and the opinion, my professional opinion. I'm really big on just being transparent and, like I said, communicating throughout the process. I really try to piece together what somebody's looking for. So say they're like, hey, I really want, like a community feel, and I really want to be involved in a community. I want something that's close to the water, or, we're looking for this specific school district or something along those lines, and kind of figuring out the lifestyle that my clients are looking for, and then piecing that together with the neighborhoods. That's why it's really important to know different neighborhoods, to know different markets. That way that you can kind of piece people together where it makes the most sense for them.
I think one of the things that I really appreciated when we first got connected was just kind of your geography of where you've spent your time. I know myself, a Kirkland native, and I grew up in Edmonds, but I've lived in Kirkland for 25 years now, and I love being over in Coeur d'Alene when I can. Speak to me. I know Edmonds has become near and dear to your heart. Can you talk to me about why you love that community so much?
It's very community based, and everybody's very involved. So I'm a part of the Chamber of Commerce there, and so go to a lot of the events. They host a ton of things where they, they're gathering all the local businesses. I love that. I think that's huge. There are also tons of growth where there, more boutiques. You're getting more restaurants. You're just kind of creating more of a vibe. And it feels
like a real revival, right?
It really does. It really does. It feels like it's like this new take on it, and it has life to it again, right? And it's beautiful being so near the water right there and the ferry. There's just so many wonderful things about it. And they do a ton of events too, which I really love. So they'll do like the Christmas tree lighting event, the 4th of July parade. Things like that are just really community focused. And that's where my heart's at.
I love that. That's amazing. You're extremely busy. I know that. You've got 2 beautiful daughters, your husband. I know that you enjoy, getting out there and having fun. What do you do when you're out there having fun and spending time with your family when you're not helping your clients accomplish their goals?
We love to travel.
Okay.
I love the desert. We tend to go Palm Springs, Scottsdale, typically once a year.
Yeah.
So just actually got back from Palm Springs last week.
Nice.
It's amazing. So we love to travel, love boating. I know we share that.
Yes,
so
indeed.
anywhere we can go, we go to Coeur d'Alene quite a bit.
Yeah.
So my family's still there. So
Right.
we'll go boating there. We'll do Lake Washington. Love going on hikes and doing things like that.
Yeah.
I love going and checking out new food and restaurants, and that's what's great about Edmonds right now.
I was gonna
too, is
say,
there's
yeah,
lots of
works out
booming
nicely.
restaurants there. So anything like that I can, I love.
Yeah.
And I'm very extroverted, so anything social, right? You can see me at any sort of event, any
Right.
time of day. I love it. So,
You're in. Yes.
Yep, that's where I'm at.
I mean, that's one of the things that we talked about, I know, but like with Kirkland, I feel like they've kind of lost that focus of having those boutiques and the restaurants and everything else. And I love that there's still towns that are, growing in that direction. So that's very, very cool. Talk to me, like, what's a typical day in the life look like for you?
Yeah, so it's busy,
Yeah.
as you know. And so I'm try to start my day. I love to be able to still take the girls to school. That's been very important to me. So I start my day as soon as I drop them off. I'll typically either go into Mercer Island and work from the office there, or potentially out of a local coffee shop, or meeting clients depending on the day and what the structure is there.
Yep.
But I do like to do drop off, and then it's anything. It's going into the office and responding to emails, making my phone calls. It's touring homes, right? Going and previewing so that if something comes on the market and I know a client might like it, I want to see it before I show it to them, so I'm prepared.
Right.
It's also just checking out new markets and new developments, right? Because there's a lot of new construction right now. As we know, it's holding up about 60% of the market.
For sure.
So I want to know what's out there. I want to know, so when my client comes to me, hey, this, TriPoint has this coming up and Mainview has this coming up, and here's what I would suggest. So really being in tune with those is very important.
Getting your research done.
Exactly.
I love that.
So do my homework, my due diligence. And then kind of from there, it's like, meeting with clients and either doing buyer tours or listing appointments, or trying to do a, coffee or happy hour as well to kind of keep all that moving.
Yeah.
And then the afternoon showings or weekend open houses, that kind of thing. Yeah. Just trying to figure out the balance.
Balancing it all. I was going to say that sounds like a lot. Yes.
It's a lot, but I'm grateful to have an amazing support system. Without it, I would not be where I'm at today by any means.
It's vital. Absolutely.
It's totally vital.
Yeah.
But with that too, it's just, being setting good boundaries in that way of like, okay, like I have these where this is family time still, or being able to, hone in and being intentional, right? Because my time isn't always, I might not have 5 hours to spend with the kids, but spending 20 minutes of intentional
really
time.
Focused time.
Exactly. Reading, playing, doing whatever
I'm kind
I'm
of in the same boat. Yeah. Like when I get home, that's a big focus for me is, try to put the phone down, disconnect there. And like last time my daughter and I played, a kind of like find it game where you're reading a card and looking for things on a board for like an hour and a half. Right.
I love it.
For her, it was just amazing. For me, I'm like, all right, just go through the process, but it was intentional time that I know, makes an impact. So
it definitely does. And that's what I've learned. Cause of course there's the mom guilt in me that's like, okay, I'm not spending enough time, but it's quality over quantity. That's how I've looked at it. And someday they'll look at me and hopefully be like, look what mom built. Look what she did for us.
Absolutely.
And be grateful for that. So
I love that. That's amazing. Cool. Talked about when you're doing tours with your buyers. What if I were a buyer and I was going out there to view homes with you? Like, what are you focused in on that you really want to make sure that I understand and have comprehension around as we're looking at properties?
The whole process. Okay. I want you to feel comfortable and know what you're getting yourself into.
Okay.
A lot of times, it's a huge deal. It's the biggest purchase you make in your life typically, right? Yeah. So I want you to be educated, prepared, and to know what the process looks like. So with that, starting out getting pre-approval is always key.
Of course.
Know what your budget is, and then just kind of going from there. I ask all the questions. Okay, well, what are you looking for? Do you want a more urban feel? Do you want more, residential, suburban? What are you looking for as far as specs of a home? Right. And then kind of going from there, like really making it very specific to that client, right? And then also focusing on the community in the area. Right. Right. Like, okay, well, if you really like, wineries, okay, Woodinville might be great for this X, Y, and Z reasons, right? That kind of thing. And then we have a buyer booklet basically that really walks through the process too. So they know
the nuts and bolts. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think having those processes and systems kind of in place too, to kind of lead through it. Yeah. And then just so they're educated.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in that as well. I think that's the thing that I always say to clients as I'm getting introduced is an educated or well-informed buyer is the best buyer. Exactly. Right? Like that's the client you want, because that's the client that's going to be able to take action confidently
Yep.
and capture an opportunity in what's becoming an even more competitive market again now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And one of the things I do too, and I typically take out a buyer for the first time, we go over the purchase and sales agreement and the forms right away.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So when the time comes and they have to
They're
write an
not
offer,
scared by it.
exactly.
Yeah.
They know what they're like, oh, Krissy went over this with me.
Right.
And of course I'm still there to walk them through it, but at least they know this is familiar. This is kind of what we went over.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you really try to incorporate your client's lifestyle into the strategy of where you're going to take them, what you're going to show them, and then of course empowering them along the way by giving them great resources.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love that. Let's talk a little bit about just, the crystal ball. Where I know obviously there's a big part of your business is with new construction, but what are you seeing, let's say, for the rest of 2024 and as we lead into hopefully potentially a lower rate environment next year? Like, what are you seeing in the market space now that you think is going to be really powerful for clients?
Yeah. As of January, as you know, I mean, it just went bonkers.
Absolutely.
I feel like all the buyers came off the sidelines and we're like, here we go. And, it feels like 2020, 2021 again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Multiple offers, waiving all contingencies up against, cash, all that good stuff. But I do feel that it's not necessarily fully sustainable forever.
Right.
Right. So I don't want people to lose the morale of it, right? Because I know in the first January, February, March, I know buyer
fatigue was there. Yeah.
Totally. And that's where new construction does come in handy.
Right.
Some don't do offer reviews. So it's like you get on priority list or it's, first come, first serve. So you have a chance to get in and not bid out, right? But I think we're going to see a busy spring, busy summer.
Yeah.
We're already, upticking into that. And then if rates come down, it's going to be insane.
Yeah.
It absolutely will. If we're seeing this kind of activity already in
right?
Q1, it's going into Q2, it's only going to get busier.
Well, that's the thing I think that we saw coming out of the end of last year with those last couple of Fed meetings and like the pause and then the talk about potentially rate cuts. It felt like overnight buyers were coming back to the marketplace and really getting, excited about, the homes, even with rates where they are. One of the stats that I've seen and we've talked about a few times is for every 1% that an interest rate drops, there's an expectation of 5 million buyers entering the marketplace in the nation. There's not enough homes,
right?
So I think the key is, working with somebody like yourself and being prepared, and getting that education. So I appreciate that approach that you take there. Let's talk a little bit more about just you and your family. Like what do you and your family love to do outside of travel? Like, what are the activities that really, bring that community sense to your daily life?
We're very avid in community in Edmonds specifically, right? It's where we live. So we tend to go there quite a bit. Just anything that they kind of have going on. They have like little art classes that the kids can pop in and take, right? And do, painting and
nice.
And all that good stuff. So we'll do that. Tend to go to dinners quite a bit, as much as we possibly can, brunch, things like that, Salt and Iron, Fire and the Feast. They're both really good spots in Edmonds. And just trying to make that time, and then also being active, right? Trying to stay active, joining the gym, things like that, to really keep that community base as well.
Yeah.
It's something I really enjoy, and I want that for my family in return.
Yeah.
So that's really what we tend to do kind of in our free time. And then, of course, look at houses. I tend to always, anytime I see an open house or...
I'm the same way. I'm not even a realtor and I'm always checking out places.
What's going on? So, that's
all right. You mentioned a couple of restaurants. Name me your top 3 spots in Edmonds, maybe 1 or 2 spots, Kirkland, Mercer Island. I mean, you're the expert out there, so help our viewers.
Edmonds, Fire and the Feast is probably number 1. Charcoal's really good too. It's more kind of a seafood menu. It's really good. I would say number 3, Pueblo's really good too, downtown Edmonds. Those are probably our top 3. Yeah. And then, tons of coffee shops, which is really great. Walnut Coffee is my favorite spot to go. And then Kirkland, I would say, let's see, where do we typically go? Volterra?
Yeah, I love Volterra.
Yeah, that's a good one that we tend to go to. And then on the island, Mio Posto is really good. Tend to go for happy hour quite a bit. I'm a regular there.
You walk in, they're like, hey.
Or Sonos, which is a little cafe there. They have like the juice and the acai bowls, that sort of thing. So tend to go there quite a bit. Bothell, there's Russell's, which is the steakhouse. That's a great spot. We love to go there
staple
too.
Out there for sure.
Exactly. And it's always consistent, which is nice.
Exactly. I feel like that about Daniel's too.
Daniel's is really good too, and the view.
You know what you're going to get.
Exactly. So that's so important.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time today. Is there anything else that we should know? Anything you want to share with our viewers as we wrap our time up?
I think just... as we're kind of getting into the busier market, just making sure that you choose somebody that you trust that's going to guide you in a way that is looking out for your best interest. I think that's so key right now.
Absolutely.
And really doing their due diligence and your due diligence to make sure it's a good pair. Good fit.
I think there's, what I've seen is a bit of a scarcity mindset over the last couple of years. Right. And you see, clients that are introduced to me on the lending side where I don't know the realtor that they're working with, and you can tell that they're feeling a little pushed, they're feeling a little rushed, they're not really empowered. So I truly appreciate that your approach is right around that, making sure that you're empowering them, you're educating them, that you're understanding and seeing them, I guess, right, for what they want to accomplish and honoring that. So.
And you never want to buy out of fear.
Right.
Buying because it makes the most sense for you, right? That's the key.
Yeah.
That's always the key.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks so much, Mason.
All right.
Bye.